English 112. My name is Mrs. Brewer, and I'm going to be your instructor for the duration of this course. I post weekly lecture videos fairly regularly, almost every week, as needed, and these are extraordinarily important for your success in this course. So you definitely want to make sure that you are listening to all of the lecture videos that are posted. I don't expect you to sit there and watch my face talk to you, but I do think it's a good idea for you to have this lecture video open as you scroll through Moodle, look at your assignments, look over everything as I explain it, and then you have a much deeper understanding of what the expectations are for you in this online course. So I just want to take a moment, introduce myself, go over the basics of the course and what we're doing for week 1. So my name is Siobhan Brewer, and this is I'm starting my 3rd year here at LCC as an English and Humanities instructor. I graduated with my undergrad degree from Towson University in Baltimore, Maryland, in English, and I got my master's degree from East Carolina University in multicultural and transnational literature, so English. And so I love reading books about, other cultures and those types of things. I find those the most interesting. I am married and I have 2 kids, Jude, who is 4, and I have Eleanor, who will be 9 months on February 2nd. So I just had her less than a year ago. And I really enjoy teaching here at LCC. I have a bunch of classes this semester. I have a bunch of face-to-face classes and some online classes as well. And I think both have their positives and their drawbacks. And I enjoy teaching in both mediums, both face-to-face and online. So we're an online class, and if you want to make sure you have Moodle up and you want to go through this Moodle page with me really quickly as I talk. Again, you don't have to watch me. So if you need to pause me to make sure you have Moodle up, I have our homepage, Welcome to English 112. At the top of the page, you'll see that there's an announcements link. I utilize announcements fairly regularly in the class if I have something that I need the whole class to know. The reason I use that is the announcement will stay here in Moodle, and it will also go to your email. So those are very helpful. And then you have my contact information. So my office is Waller Building 232. I'm upstairs across from the elevator. My office hours are guaranteed. You're going to guarantee to catch me here during that time. My phone number, feel free to use it. Leave a message and I'll call you back. And of course, the best way to contact me is via email. If you want a really quick response during the week, you can expect it definitely within 24 hours, usually much faster. And over the weekend is about 48-hour response time. The course information is below. You have your syllabus, so you want to make sure you kind of review that. So your syllabus just takes you through, you have my contact information, you have your course outline, you have my particular course policies, which are super important. So how I want you to contact me, if you email me, there's a particular format that I want you to use that's in here in the syllabus, where you greet, you identify your course, because I do have multiple sections. Let me know specifically what you have a question about and what are your questions, and then you sign off. So you want to make sure you email that way. Make sure you email me from your Lancer email account, and give me the proper amount of time to contact you back. Then also my submitting assignments. You need to make sure you're submitting your assignments through Microsoft Word if it's an attachment, and it's always in Moodle. So I do not accept assignments via email. I only grade your assignments that are submitted in Moodle. Now, if you're having trouble with Moodle for some reason and you want me to know that it was done on time, shoot me an email and attach it just to show that it was done on time, but I'm still going to ask you to submit it in Moodle for grading. And in regard to late work, I do have a late work procedure, and your late work procedure is that you get a 5-day grace period. Most of your assignments online will be due on Sunday nights, and you get a 5-day grace period on your assignments. Now, what that means is in those 5 days, every day that it's late, you lose 10% of the grade. So if you earn an 80 on a paper, but you turned it in 3 days late, then that 80 is minus 30% and the grade is now a 50. So it's super important that you turn things in on time, even though there is a late work procedure. In that late work procedure, your attendance assignments do not count. Your attendance assignments are usually journals, but I will indicate what assignment is your attendance assignment every week. It is imperative that you do your attendance assignment. If you miss 2 attendance assignments in a row, you are dropped from the course. And if you miss 4 total, you are dropped from the course. So it's super important that you get those done. Also, at the end of the semester, your literature review has a 1-day grace period, not a 5-day grace period. And if it is late, it's a 15-point deduction. And your presentation needs to be submitted on time. There is not a late period for that or the final exam. So make sure that you are on that at the end of the semester. You have some program information here. So we expect you to use Microsoft Word. Super important. If you don't use Microsoft Word, you will get a 0 on that grade. Make sure that you submit in Moodle. Make sure that you have a computer. You're taking an online course. This just lets you know about communicating with your instructor. I communicate with the student. So if you have a question about your grade and you email me, I'll make sure to get back to you. If your parent has a question about your grade and they email me, I'll make sure to get back to you. My communication occurs with my student, not their parent. So just be aware of that. Even though you have a FERPA form on file, my communication goes between me and the student. There's a technical issue procedure. Make sure that if you have technical issues, you're contacting tech support. If you ask me how to fix technical issues, I can't help you with that. I'm very, very bad at technology as well. We have a plagiarism policy here at LCC. We take it very seriously. So it includes obvious plagiarism, where you're copying and pasting and things like that, but also accidental plagiarism. So if you improperly cite something or don't cite it at all, that's plagiarism. Also, obviously, if you look up test answers, if you share test answers, if you communicate with others on individual assignments, all of that is considered cheating and plagiarism. The first instance will give you a 0 on the assignment. The second instance will result in your failure in the course. So LCC takes that very seriously. Your attendance requirements, I kind of just went over that. So you cannot miss 2 weeks consecutively or 15% of your assignments. If you do, you will be dropped from the course. So make sure that you are completing your assignments in this course. We go over academic integrity, make sure you have that, and that's all in the syllabus. So make sure you take some time to read through those things. I'm going to click back into our Moodle page, and we're going to move on down. Major assignments in this course. So this just lets you know how the course is broken down, that you're going to have a literary analysis paper, you're going to have an annotated bibliography, a literature review, and a presentation, and then you also will have coursework. And that breakdown is in your syllabus as well. I'm going back to the page, the original page. This just talks about the next course information, just tells you about sending an email again. You have some support, so your distance education contacts. Also tutoring, we will utilize that this semester, so you'll get familiar with that with your papers and getting revisions. And then your resources. You want to start reading Othello as soon as possible because we're going to move through it fairly quickly. So you have a PDF of Othello. It's a really good PDF. It has kind of questions that keep you on track. It has some definitions of words that you may not know. There are questions at the end that kind of help you with better understanding the text. So it's a really great resource. And then right under that, you have your free download of Microsoft. Make sure that you do have Microsoft Office on your computer. You're going to need it for all of your papers, and you're going to need the PowerPoint for your presentation. And then you have a link to the library. We will definitely be utilizing that this semester. If you go below, helpful tips for completing this course. Make sure that you complete the enrollment assignment immediately, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. And make sure that you start reading Othello right away. If you ever have questions, contact me. We have a 10% date in this course. The 10% date is February 4th. If you do not complete the enrollment assignment by February 4th, you will be dropped from the course. Also, before you can complete any assignments in this course, you have to complete your enrollment assignment. And we have assignments due on February 2nd, so you want to make sure you get on that. So you want to complete your Journal 1 enrollment assignment. I ask you to answer the questions in paragraph form, 1 paragraph for all of the questions. So go ahead and do that. Make sure you submit it as soon as possible so you can jump into the first week's work. I'm looking at week 1 now. You're already listening to the video. Great job. We've gone over your syllabus. And now what we have, you've already done your enrollment assignment, hopefully. And what's due next is your introductory discussion forum. So what I want you to do is to post one initial post where you just write your name and you introduce us to yourself, okay? So make sure that you tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever you feel like sharing. We're kind of practicing using the discussion forum because we're going to use this a lot through this course, and this is kind of just an introduction. So tell us about yourself. You can model it after what I did, whatever information you choose to provide. And that first initial response from you is due by Thursday night at 11:55. Then by Sunday, I would like for you to reply to 2 peers. So make sure you do that. You know, it doesn't have to be an in-depth reply. If you see something that you relate to, just kind of, you know, a nice comment introducing yourself, getting to know each other. There's a TED Talk that I want you guys to watch. Shakespeare was the first hip-hop artist. And then make sure that you're reading Othello. You need to read the introduction, which is pages 4 through 24, and Act 1 by February the 2nd. So you will respond in a journal form, and this is your attendance assignment for the first week. And answering these questions for Act 1. Make sure you're pulling exact quotes, make sure you're pulling from the text. The more that you pull from the text, the easier time you're gonna have when we write a paper about this. So when you do pull from the text, make sure you're saying what act and scene and line number or what page you're pulling these information from, because then you're gonna be able to go back to it and use it for your paper. So the more detailed you are at the beginning, the easier things are when you write your paper here in a couple weeks. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Reading Shakespeare is not always the easiest thing in the world, so feel free to utilize resources that are online. No Fear Shakespeare opens up the text, and then it also has kind of a modern translation of it. Feel free to utilize that, but make sure that when you're quoting it, you're quoting Shakespeare's text and that you're quoting the act, the scene, and the line number so that you can go back to it. But yeah, whatever you need to do, if you need to listen to it, I'm sure you can find the audio on YouTube or anything like that to follow along. Make sure you do that and kind of find yourself some resources to make sure you're understanding the play. Make sure you contact me if you have any questions or concerns. We're going to jump right in. We have a 14-week course. Really, it's 13 weeks because of spring break. So we're jumping right in, and we're going to get right to work on Othello. I will check in with you guys next week. Welcome to the course.